Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be, as you cling to the edge of planet Earth while we are hurtling across time and space, I hope that you're able to sit with yourself quietly, regroup, rethink, recharge, and cleanse your subtle energy body. Clear your energy, clear the air, as they say. It's been a really rough week. We have protests and riots, and yes, even some looting going on some places, but that's not as common. Mostly it's peaceful demonstrations across the globe, mostly in all 50 states in the United States. I've seen some in France, in Paris, not throughout the whole of France, but I've seen just a few things. I don't have media, I don't have like a TV or something, but I do look on YouTube a little bit. But I hope that whatever you're doing during this time, that you're able to regroup, you're able to recharge and bring yourself back to your center and sage yourself. If you have sage yourself. If you have incense, I guess incense yourself. No. But just cleanse your energy field, because there's too much happening at once. And we are taking it all in, and we are being deeply affected by all the events that are unfolding. I mean, we've been in crisis with the pandemic, with COVID-19 for, it's been 80 days, 85 days now, something like that, depending on where you are. And then on top of that, with what happened to Breonna Taylor, and then this week George Floyd, this has been a lot to take in. Everybody feels it. The idea and the fact that Black people do not feel safe with their lives, being out in public, going out of their homes. And that's not right. But everybody has a different reaction. We all have a different way of grieving and processing information. And I certainly did not mean to imply in any way, shape, or form this week, if I said something that made you think I meant this, I did not mean the following: that you are a racist if you do nothing on social media. I I know I didn't say that. I maybe have said that you're kind of part of the problem if you don't do anything at all, if you don't participate in educating yourself or others or having conversations. But some people have implied that, and I didn't mean to imply that. If I did, and I'm sorry. Everybody processes everything different, and it's not natural for a lot of people to just go on social media and talk about something that's this deep. Like George Floyd said in our interview on Tuesday night, this is a shadow on America that needs to be erased. We need to shine a light on it. And he said that if we do that, then we can ascend, all of us, into the next level. But right now, there's that one old chestnut we haven't addressed, right? As at least as a collective whole in North America, right? So there you have it, since 2019, last year, there have been 1,099 deaths at the hands of police brutality. 24% of those were Black people. But when you look at the population of the United States, 13% of the population are Black people. So there is a disproportionate amount of police brutality that's resulting in murder of Black people. This is not right. But there are different ways that you can deal with this, but we all have to do something. But you don't have to go on social media if that's awkward or weird for you. It's natural for me to want to do that because that's how I reach out to most people I know, because I'm in Ecuador and now isolated, as far as stuck in my home for the last 2.5 months, coming up on 3 months now with the coronavirus pandemic. 2020 is really shaping up to be one of those crappy years that you just kind of, at the end of the year, you're just like, thank God it's over. We've had a few of those in the last decade. I always look forward to January. Yeah, new year, everything's going to be grand. and then this year just, we thought, hey, it's going to be a great year. 2020 says, ha 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 ha, psych. Nope. But there are different ways that you can deal with this. You can get on social media, and a lot of you have done so, and I'm really grateful to have read your posts. A lot of people that don't normally share at all, once or twice a month, have started to share videos. Also, if you go to Hi Chris Gray, I mentioned this yesterday, but she's done an amazing documentary, and you could write me on Twitter, and on Instagram, and I will send it to you. It's it's less than 2 minutes long, but it's really, really good. I'm really proud of her. But anyway, I'm Mermaid Girl 888. It's my personal Instagram. I haven't gotten my other one up and running yet. I'm still waiting to get my internet connected. Hopefully next week. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, even legs crossed, eyes crossed too. Just everything crossed that we will get internet installed next week because we've been waiting for 3 weeks. The only internet we can get is government related, and the government internet here in Ecuador, it's excellent, low price, but they were shut down up until like a month or a week ago, for 2 months. So a lot of back orders there. People have been waiting for a while. But things that you can do during this time, besides take to social media, if that's too much for you. Put up a black square, not enough. But if anyone in your family or among your friends have displayed, reactions or just unawakened ideas, or taking this opportunity to tell off-color jokes or whatever, now's your chance to either cut them out of your life or to have a conversation with them. I recommend speaking with them first. Having a conversation about it. And if you don't know what is or isn't racism, what is white privilege, what is white fragility, these are words you might want to look up and just start trying to figure it all out. Try to unravel it. Be honest with yourself. Look at how you were raised and see if there wasn't some subtle racism going on with your parents. Racism is not genetic. It's a learned behavior. I know I fought it my whole life. My parents always spoke of people in the terms of their religion or their race, and you don't want to date one of those because blah blah blah. You don't want to date one of those. Someone from that group, you don't want to date that. That's the kind of crap I grew up with. And I knew from an early age I'm not gonna be that way, and I still will catch myself saying something that's totally wrong, totally off, and it's hard to unravel, especially when your heart isn't there in that energy of if you don't hate, there could still be racist things, right? So it's not always about just absolute hatred or fear. It could be attitudes. Like in my interview again with George Floyd, just the subtlety. There's subtle racism. There's even good racism, quote unquote, but it's not really, because it's racism, right? So there's so much we have to unravel from ourselves as people. But what can you do during this crisis? Well, educate yourself. Have those hard conversations with family and friends. I've decided, years ago, a long time ago, that if somebody is racist in any way, especially if they're really hardcore and it's obvious, they're out of my life immediately. And I decided that when I was like a teenager. So, and then years later, Ice-T came out with something in one of his songs. I used to buy all the rap albums. During my first huge breakup, I really got into rap. And I wanted to know more about the black struggle and what was really happening. And so I started looking into people's art, from the famous people to the local people, and just talking to people. And it's something I've been interested in learning more and more about, for decades. But Ice-T had said something about, if someone's racist, cut them out of your life. You're done with them until they can change. You don't need to do anything with them. If you're gonna have, and what I'm saying is, if you're gonna have a big heart, you have to allow everybody in it. You have to love everybody. And so that's the first thing, talk to yourself, talk to others, educate yourself, educate others. You can post on social media that, obviously it's encouraged. Don't use the hashtag Black Lives Matter because they're having a hard time getting information out now. So just BLM is good for that. What else? Trying to think of what else. I wish we can't on Instagram. Once you post something, you either have to take it down and repost it, or you have to, you just have to redo it. You can't edit anything. And that's the one thing I don't like about Instagram. And I wish I did actually use that hashtag on Tuesday before I knew that they were having an issue with it. So I decided just to keep it there. But anyway, what else? Oh, you could donate. Money. If you don't know, if you don't have enough money to donate anything, and a lot of people don't right now because I've been working for 2 months, go to @BeccaFeelGood and look through her feed, and she put a link to a YouTube video that when you watch it, money gets automatically donated on your behalf. You can open a tab on your computer and turn the sound down and run it all day long, and even if you're not paying attention to it, the money goes. The money goes to the places it needs to be to help the protesters get bailed out of jail, to help people get attorneys after they've been, arrested or falsely accused or whatever. Whatever's going on. There's a lot of different things. You could donate directly to Black Lives Matter if you have $20, even, $5. If everyone gave $5, that'd be enough. If everyone on earth gave $5, that'd be more than enough to help all the Black people that need it, from people that are suffering from police brutality to poverty. There's a lot that needs to be done. You can support Black-owned businesses. If you're in an area where there are Black-owned businesses, opt to go support them. Help the oppressed. Help the people that are suffering and overlooked, and speak out against people saying things like, the Black Panthers were violent or whatever. And, I did a report on the Black Panthers a while ago, and I came across somebody started a conversation about the Black Panthers being violent and they don't like them, and that they don't like Malcolm X because he was a part of the Black Panthers, and he was all for nonviolent protesting. But he said there's going to come a line, there'll come a time where there might be a call for more than that. We have to know when that line is, but sometimes it's necessary. And I'm not quoting him directly, but I love Malcolm X. I bought a house in Detroit, and I every day looked throughout the neighborhood, and every day I was looking at the mosque he founded. And I didn't even know. I knew it was a mosque. I didn't know it was the mosque that Malcolm X had founded. And when I learned that, I just broke down and cried. I couldn't believe it. He's always been one of my heroes since I learned about him, because he came up from, just kind of being a hoodlum and went to jail, and in jail turned his life around, read the Quran, converted to Islam, and became a leader for the Black people and encouraging nonviolent protests, and they got a lot done. not enough. It was just part. Like George Floyd said, I'm just a link in the chain of a long line of people. I'm just a little part of it. I'm just that final straw that broke the camel's back. And so anyway, I don't know. I saw a list, and I can't remember what all the things were, but they had a huge list. It's going around. I think I added it to my story. I tried anyway. I don't know if it worked, but that's on Instagram. I added it. It was pretty. Oh no, that one I didn't. I was not able to add that one. Sorry, but anyway, just do your what you can. But in the midst of all of this that's going on, take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Kindness starts at home. Change starts with you. Don't watch the images of the violence over and over again. That's not good for you. It's not good for your subtle body. It's not good for anything. In fact, just to be honest with you, I only watched maybe 1 minute of what was going on with George Floyd. I had to turn it off. Because it was too much for me. I was bawling my head off, and so was my son. Which is probably why his spirit came to me. He felt how badly we were grieving for him and for what happened, and also plus he, found out I was a good channel, I guess, and so that was my way of giving to him, to help the cause and the movement. And about 105 people, something like that, have listened. So somebody said something to me yesterday that upset me, and said, when I tried to put it on Tyrese Gibson, I was like, hey, I want to put this on your page in case anyone's interested. And because people are speculating. Oh, I bet this happened. Oh, I bet that happened. Oh, I think this is what went down. People don't know because they didn't know him. They weren't there. And that's one reason why he came back to speak through me, so that he could get the message out to people. And people are still speculating. And so I put check out my podcast. I did an interview from Beyond the Grave with him because I wanted, he wanted a voice to be heard. So I gave him a platform. That's it. Anyway, someone said I was trying to profit off a dead man, whose body wasn't even in the ground yet. And that really upset me because I make 1 penny. When you guys listen to Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast, I literally make 1 cent. That's it. I'm working my ass off on this podcast, and I don't make enough money to sustain even the food part of my bills per month. I'm putting out over 2 hours of content every day, 5 days a week now. I think today is my 106th episode for season 2. Season 1, I put out 364 episodes. And for me to get just 1 penny per listen, that doesn't sound to me like I'm profiting off of it. You know what I mean? There's already people out there selling t-shirts for Black Lives Matter, $20-25 a pop. People are making a fortune at the protests, but let's just be getting down to brass tacks, honey. If you want to talk about profiting off a dead man, let's talk to the Pope and the Vatican and every Christian church in the world. They're all profiting off of the death of Jesus. And they have been for 2,000 years. At this point, I just say, mic drop, boom, there it is. But I only made $1. So far I made like $1.05, but it's like, I'm worth, for am I really worth 50 cents an hour? You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like I was a little bit incensed by that. And of course, this guy doesn't speak for the person who I left this on Tyrese's page, and Tyrese didn't say anything to me one way or the other, but I left it on Snoop Dogg's page as well, or at least I gave some kind of shout out to him. Hey, you guys might be interested in this, They're upset, and I think that some of the information that was in that interview might have helped them process faster some of the things that they are going through. Like the idea of Jesus dying. Everybody that is so into that murder porn, as Killer Mike said when he was in Atlanta, Georgia today, speaking about this, he called it murder porn. People go over it again and again and again, and they watch it on TV constantly. And people in the Christian faith do the same thing. Not everybody. Like my brother doesn't. A lot of people don't. But a lot of people do. Jesus died for you. Died. I remember someone had sent something from the Catholic Church to my son. When my son was little, I ordered some rosaries and different things because I knew that he was born with the Catholic faith in him. He was a priest in a past life, and I wanted him to feel spiritually comfortable until he could start to look at the world around him in a different way and grow and change in the ways he needed to. But I wanted to provide him that comfort when he was a baby. And he was singing Silent Night when he was 2 months old in his crib by himself. We were walking down the hallway, and he had his crib was in my room, and all of a sudden we heard, like, what is he singing? My newborn baby is singing. He was singing Silent Night. And while I was pregnant with him, his spirit came to me and showed me that he was a priest. So I always want to honor that, in him. And so I did. And anyway, I had ordered some stuff, and they sent me a little golden, fake gold, like brass maybe, but it was this little golden statuette of a cross, and with Jesus on the cross. And I was like, God, it's like the last thing I need is murder porn to me. The image of Jesus hanging on a cross, suffering. When you keep thinking about someone like that, it keeps him in that loop, right? And I'm not saying that he's almighty and powerful. He's an ascended master and the greatest witch that ever lived, so he's not really still suffering, but people hold him in that energy, and they hold themselves in that energy of suffering and violence, and it's like a sickness, It's like being a looky-loo at an accident, hoping to see the blood and the gore, so that could be the topic of conversation around the water cooler at work for that week, and what you can tell your family. Ooh, you know what I saw? It's sick. There's a sickness to that. And anyway, I was dusting off my bookshelves, and Brother Yeshua appeared to me. And behind me, I felt his energy over to the right, overlooking my right shoulder. And I was like, hey, brother, what's up? And I heard him say, ugh, must people constantly think of me like that? And I looked, and as I looked as him hanging on the cross on this little tiny statuette, the Jesus part that was on the cross popped off and fell onto the floor. And it made me laugh so hard. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I just put the cross away, and I just put the Jesus part there. And, I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. Why must we hold people to? So that was another reason why George Floyd wanted the interview, because when, he got to heaven, he stopped suffering, right? The minute he was fully dead, he's like, oh, thank God I'm out of here. your soul's relieved. And we don't have to continuously be stuck in the pain and the agony. That was 9 minutes out of 46-year, man's life he lived 46 years. So it was 9 minutes, and they were terrifying moments. And those are the moments that have sparked the world to take to the streets. And we're not going to stop until there's justice, but we don't need to hold the man in that energy. We don't need to hold his soul and his spirit in that energy. We need to now hold him in our hearts, in our minds, with love and light. See him walking in the garden with Jesus at his side. See him having conversations with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. See him, being happy with his mama, who he cried for in the last moments. See him being happy. That's what all of our people, all the people that you knew that passed away, they all need you to not see them on a respirator in the hospital. Not seeing them clutch their chest and screaming in pain as they die, or however people die. They don't need you to hold them into that. They need you to send them love and light and imagine them young, happy, dancing and laughing, and in that state of joy. Because that's what heaven is. Last night I was crying a little bit when someone's, accused me of wanting to profit off a dead man. And I'm like, at that point, I'd only made about 62 cents, right? And I was just like, oh my effing God. I was mad enough to respond to this. So, I was like, he manipulated me for about 10 minutes. And then afterwards, I just was like, whatever. But I said, yeah, well, when it reaches a whole effing dollar, maybe perhaps I could give that $1 back to the Black community. Would that satisfy you? 2 hours of my time. But, it's not really a true profit, really. Considering the thousands of dollars I've spent on advertising, and I'm only making a penny per person. It's not, the people that have podcasts with hundreds of thousands of listeners, those are the people that are making money, like living money. I'm sometimes making pocket change money. That's it. This is a labor of love, not, a labor for wages at this point. But, when I got done, I came to bed and I was kind of crying about it. I was a little bit upset, and George Floyd's spirit came to me and he said, hey, baby girl, look, this is the thing. I wanted you to do this, and you did this for me, and I'm so grateful. And it was in that moment I went, wait a minute, we're friends when I'm in heaven, right? Before I was born, we were friends, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't remember. None of us remember who we're friends with. We forget all of our people up in the other side, basically. And he said, no, don't worry. He's like, look, and he came and he gave me a hug again. I'm like, oh man, this guy with his hugs, what a sweetheart. Anyway, he put his arms around me and he said, look, it's gonna be okay. Haters gotta hate. And I'm like, oh snap, that's right, totally forgot about that one. Haters gotta hate. That's true. And he said, we ought to have expected critics. And it's not something we had a conversation about before you released the show. I'm like, yeah, that's true as well. There's always going to be critics. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be someone to be a nitpicky person. I'm usually the nitpicky person in the situation. So when it's reversed back on me, I'm all, wait a minute. So yeah, there's that. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that I got to know George Floyd this week, even though it's posthumously. He's still there, we're still there. We don't, when we die, it's only a few moments. people don't wear a bullet on a necklace because Gandhi was shot. So why the hell do people wear crosses on their neck? Because Jesus died on a cross. Maybe the way he lived before that was what was the important thing. And maybe the resurrection of him coming back, saying, hey, guess what, guys? Ta-da! Death is an illusion. Maybe that's a little bit more important than the fact that he died, even though. And the whole idea that he died for your sins. No, he died to show you that death wasn't real. God, I just can't even with that religion. It's just so fake and false, and it's just the people who follow that religion, and then they try to tell me things like, you can't get to heaven unless you're Christian. Well, fine, I'll be a Jew like Jesus then, and we'll sit in hell together if that's true. But then they don't know what hell is either. And I hope you guys caught my hell episode. A lot of people are really confused by that. By the way, I put a little blurb on Instagram about it. And people are like, only 2 people commented, and they're really confusing comments. Like, someone says, DM me ASAP. It's like, why? I did a show about hell, and ooh, if you don't listen to the show, you're not going to know what it was about. It wasn't about what you think. Did I get into the gore of how people are tortured in hell? Hell no. It's just talking about why people go to hell. What's the emotions that force you into that position until you no longer accept it for yourself. That's it. My son had an experience, a deep spiritual experience. It took him a year to process it. I only found out about it this week. He's like, okay, I'm going to tell you something. I'm like, okay. I said, I'd love to talk to you about that on the show. And he said, all right. I've been trying to get my son on the show for a year to talk about relationships and stuff, because he's a very deep human being, and he came here with his own ideas. Like I said, he's a priest in a past life. He was a Roman soldier in a past life. He's been a soldier, and he's been a priest a couple times. He's got themes he's gone through in his lifetimes as well. My themes, basically, I've always been like shunning the idea of marriage as a woman and looking for God instead, and meditating and following a holy path instead. That's always been my thing. and this time I'm like doing different, gonna get married, gonna have kids, did that, and then boom, right back into my soul's pattern of being alone and being a holy, following a holy path instead. Trying to walk the metaphysical, cosmic path, as it were. And now waiting for my twin flame, which is incidentally not just about relationships, it's also part of your holy path, your journey. So, whether you're incarnate or not with your twin, it's still part of your spirituality. Anyway, that's kind of what went on. I just want to talk a little bit about that. Like, if you put something out there and someone says some BS thing to you, just accusing you without even knowing you, I literally, what I said to this guy, I said, okay, well, you know what? By all means, don't give me the 1 penny by not listening to the 2-hour show I did. Why don't you go ahead and spend the next 35 years following a spiritual path and learning how to telepath and learning how to become a world walker. You could become a shaman. You can follow the path that I followed for 35 years and learn how to, do all the things I do, speaking with the dead. And then, you can learn and develop your clairvoyance and clairaudience and your telepathy, and go ahead and develop all this yourself. And then maybe in 35 years, you'll be able to talk to George Floyd yourself. to learn what happened in those final moments. I mean, if you think you'll care 35 years from now, like maybe that's what you can do now. If you don't think I deserve the 1 penny. Like, some people are so fucking petty. I put a hashtag like ungrateful. Ungrateful people. Like the nerve of some people, like, oh my God. I mean, people that rap about these things make millions of dollars on their albums talking about this stuff, and all I did was give a platform and a voice to a dead man who didn't have a whole lot of options. There's not a lot of options out there for people that can walk between the worlds and telepath and communicate and channel the dead like I do. A lot of people do, but I mean, but those people, do they have a podcast? Do they already have a platform going? Do they already, you know what I mean? Like, it's like 1 penny I make. I only have one sponsor, guys. They're like, get your listenership up. Okay, yeah, I go up every 4 weeks by 4 people or something. It's not the fastest growing topic, if I had been doing erotic fiction or something. Maybe if I had a really, technical podcast on photography or travel, maybe I would be making a lot more money. But but let's face it, spirituality is kind of that one thing that, unless push comes to shove in someone's life, they're not even going to go there usually. So we are all the black sheep of our family. If you're listening to this, that's probably you. You're the spiritual black sheep of your family. Anyway, so that's just what's going on. I wanted to talk to you real quick about what is actually happening with the Ascension symptoms. I was trying to remember them yesterday, and then today it dawned on me, oh my God. Having a foggy memory, having the lack of clear-headedness, these are some of the Ascension symptoms right now. Another Ascension symptom is having upset stomach, just expelling gas that is less than pleasant. Okay, it's never pleasant, but when it was like really bad, where you're like, oh my God. Oh my God, something died up there. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that, but I've read this many times from many different sources over the past couple weeks. This is something having gut problems, with your bowels, also with your stomach, your internal organs, as things are being upgraded and your DNA is being changed, and you are downloading the light codes and whatever, yada, yada, yada. We are having these symptoms, and a massive pain in your lower back that just, no matter how much you stretch, just won't go away. That's what I've been having. I haven't been able to exercise in 2 days. It's been really bugging me because I was starting to get really good. I get up and get my routine done in 10 minutes and just go really fast. And I started to get really powerful and physically strong. And then all of a sudden 2 days ago, I got so sick in my stomach. I eat this carrot cake, which I was so excited to receive. And I think they put canola oil in it. I have a strong reaction to that. This morning, I just said, it must be, maybe they use canola oil. Worst oil to cook with. It tears people's stomach up. There's no such thing as a canola flour. Even you draw like a little yellow flower. It's not even a real. It's just not even real flour. It's fake. Canadian oil is what canola stands for. Is what I read once. And I was like, damn. I don't even know what it is. Honestly, it's not. It does some terrible stuff to your body. It tears my stomach up. I've been for 2 days unable to eat much. Today my son, he cut open a ricotta pepper clear across the other opposite end of the room. We have an open air living room and kitchen, and dining area, and I mean, I'm not saying it's an enormous place, but when he cut it, and he'd been cutting it for maybe 40 seconds, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe across the room, and I just felt like I had pepper spray in my face, and I'm like, oh great, I'm being empathic with all the people in the protests right now. And I'm like, and I looked at him like, hey. He's all, yeah. I'm like, did you just cut up in a ricotta pepper? He's like, yeah. All right, fine. And usually when you eat that kind of pepper that's so damn spicy, and we had it with rice, and we had scrambled eggs, and the choklo lady came by. This is Indian corn, or Incan corn. Andean corn is another name for it. It's massive. I mean, every kernel is like the size of a big marble. And it's called choklo, and it's crazy. It's got 30% more protein than the normal, like what you have in the United States, a really small corn. This is like really high protein corn, and doesn't taste like any. It's really bland. But my stomach needed something really bland today, especially since my son was cooking rice with this intense pepper. But I thought, oh, that's going to take away my pain now. It releases substance P in your brain when you eat super spicy food, and I'm still in pain. And I'm like, man. So if you're having pain in your neck, stiffness in your upper back and neck and lower back, these are Ascension symptoms. Heart palpitations, those are Ascension symptoms going on. Also, heart skipping beats, having moments where you just can't really catch your breath, having breathing issues, sinus issues, allergies, asthma. If you already have asthma, obviously, it's not like no one will develop it, but those are the kinds of things, systems in your body that are being affected. I've had nervous system issues where just things start firing weirdly. Feels like people are touching my hands or my feet. And obviously no one is, but it just feels like it's there. And Kundalini rising will do that to you. It feels like something is going around your ankle. Feel like a snake or a lizard is wrapping their tail around your ankle for a second. It's a really creepy feeling. It's just your Kundalini energy. But flashes of intuition, really strange ass dreams. But yeah, that lack of clear-headedness and mental fogginess, and those are Ascension symptoms. So that's what I've been reading from a lot of different sources. The tinnitus continues always with its damn tinnitus. Eyesight fading in and out, where one day you could see perfectly, and the next day you need reading glasses, or you just can't see at all. Having double vision, blurred vision, just unable to really, walking into a room, forgetting why the hell you're there. At my age, it's kind of normal, but if you're 20 and that's happening, not as much, right? Being absent-minded, not understanding what's going on, being really confused, having an amazing thought and then completely forgetting it a couple minutes later. Those are the kinds of things that are going on right now with the Ascension symptoms. Don't worry, you're going to get back online again soon. Your brain is being rebooted. See, like that, just slips like that, just bleh. It's just what's going on. So, before I get into our regular things that I do in the introduction, I was in bed this morning, and I woke up, and I was like, all right, here we go, another day, another dollar. Just kidding, I didn't say that, but literally in my case, if I'm lucky. But I was like, hey, here it is. I hear the roosters crowing, the sun is out, it's shining through the skylight directly above my face, and all of a sudden, my twin flame touched me. he reached out, and he's not here. I haven't met him yet in real life. And he touched the right side of my mouth, on the corner of my lips. He touched me, and I felt the warmth of his finger. I felt how wide his index finger was. I mean, it was like he was right freaking here. But the touch was so real and so, like, he really truly touched me. And when he did that, I screamed and I sat up, and I was so freaked out because obviously I'm alone in the room. Someone touches you, and I just moved to this house 2 weeks ago. That's creepy as hell. I'm not saying that my twin is creepy. It was very sweet and a very loving touch, but at the same time, it freaked me the fuck out. I was like, who's touching me? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? You know, and I just feel like I wish that it wasn't just his touch. It'd be cool if he could manifest his entire body next to me. You know, the whole thing, not just the tip of his finger touching me. That was creepy. So I don't know if any of you have experienced that, but that was, I mean, I have felt him touch my, like, the back of my neck. I felt him stroke my hair. I felt him touch my forehead now a couple times, or my cheek. But it was more subtle. And today, I mean, I felt the warmth of his finger, not just an energetic touch, but like he was literally in the room touching me. The heat from his finger touched my lips. Freaked me out. Totally freaked me out. But if you are my twin flame and you're listening to this and you know who you are, thank you, because it was awesome also. Made me think about you all day. Just for the record, I loved it. You know, but damn it, add me on Instagram already and write me a message to say hi. You know, don't panic. I mean, we will have a relationship, but it doesn't have to be an Insta relationship. Instagram, I didn't mean that, but it doesn't have to be instant. Just write me, call me, let's have a conversation. Even if it's something, you know, to do with jazz or art or, you know, nothing in particular. The news, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to take a moment here and go to the spaceweather.com. What's going on in space is solar wind speed is 329.6 kilometers per second right now. We are still having sunspot number 12, which was there yesterday. It's still there. So it's cool that's going on. They're keeping an eye on it to see if we're going to have any solar flares coming our way from it. But the neutron counts coming out of Oulu, Finland Research Laboratory, they're stating that we are having more cosmic radiation. It's actually 0.7% higher than it was yesterday. We did have 6 fireballs explode today over the United States, according to the NASA's All-Sky Fireball Network. And there is not any more new solar wind coming from the coronal holes. They just have what happened, a couple days ago. They said basically it'll be here on the 7th. So I think they said the 6th and the 7th. So all weekend, expect to have more Ascension symptoms. There's some really cool pictures of the sun if you want to check out spaceweather.com. Now, the disclosurenews.it website basically reported about 20 hours ago there was 60 hertz frequency on the Schumann Resonance scale. They're in Italy. And then the more recent number spike was 28 hertz frequency. Now, when we go to the Schumann Resonance's power from the GCMS magnetometer on heartmath.org, this is what we find. Now, this is Tuesday's numbers, not today. They are a couple days behind in their reporting because of, their issues with their server. So, California, at the hour of 20, so like 8 o'clock at night, basically, at 20 bells, if you're in the Navy, you know what I mean. June 2nd, Tuesday, 85 hertz frequency on the Schumann Resonance scale in California. In Hopu, Saudi Arabia, they were at 81 hertz frequency. In Lithuania, they were at 143 hertz frequency. And in Alberta, Canada, they were, get this, 144, as in 144,000, right? But 144 hertz frequency. And here in Northland, New Zealand, they were 55 hertz frequency. Again, there's like 44 is a master number, 144 is repeated throughout the Bible, 55 is a master number, and then the last one, last but not least, Hulului, South Africa, 111 hertz frequencies. So there you have it. That's a Schumann resonance, at least for this week. What's going on? Let me see. Make sure I have enough. Do I have enough? Yeah, okay. I have 4 minutes to read this. Okay. We are on lesson 306 in A Course in Miracles. We've been reading this, well, now for 306 episodes. We're almost done. There's 365 lessons in A Course in Miracles. You may find all of them at the Foundation for Inner Peace website at acim.org. Or conversely, you could get an app. There's always apps available. All right, lesson 306, and here it is. The gift of Christ is all I seek today. The gift of Christ is all I seek today. What but Christ's vision would I use today when it can offer me a day in which I see a world so like to heaven that an ancient memory returns to me? Today I can forget the world I made. Today I can go past all fear and be restored to love and holiness and peace. Today I am redeemed and born anew into a world of mercy and of care, of loving kindness, and the peace of God. And so, our Father, we return to you, remembering we never went away, remembering your holy gifts to us. In gratitude and thankfulness we come with empty hands and open hearts and minds, asking but what you give. We cannot make an offering sufficient for your Son, but in your love, the gift of Christ is his. The gift of Christ is all I seek today. All right. I don't know if that freaked you out, but boy, so much in common with the stuff I said earlier in this introduction. And I didn't even read the lesson until right now. Ooh, loving the synchronicities. What about you? Are you guys loving that? Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I will be channeling God himself. Prime Creator will speak through me today. As most of you know, I did ask God to take over my life, and that was in 2007 on, well, the last day of March. And on April 1st, that was on April 1st, actually. And then on April 2nd, I was struck by lightning in 2007. Knocked out all my karma up until that point. And there we started anew. We started fresh together. And I've been learning a whole lot of things since then. My spiritual training really revved up on that day. And I've been able to channel God just for the past 2 years. So it takes a while to get through all this. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'm going to telepathically channel from Prime Creator. I'm sure he has a lot to say about what's been going on Earth this past week. Probably, especially in the United States. What do you think? All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to do that when I come back. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. All right, guys. Starting this at 1:44 a.m. Oh my God. Oh goodness. Dismissing my alarm in case I fall asleep while I was waiting for that to process. Because it is 1:44 a.m. I've been going to bed early. And tonight I was waiting for my landlady, who's 26 years old, to come back with my key because she needed it for the gate, because she's visiting a friend and she needed to open the gate key to let her other friend, their third friend, in. They were going to hang out for like an hour, and then she's going to come back and return my key, which she didn't. I have literally one key to my house, and it's in her purse, probably somewhere across Cuenca. So I was waiting and waiting for like almost 2 hours for her to come back, and I wrote to her like, you saw my key. And I said, just, knock on the door, 9:30 or 10. At 12:30 she still hadn't, so she just forgot. But I'm going to see her brother tomorrow, so I'm like becoming friends with her family. It's pretty cool. So her brother makes fresh homemade yogurt. So I'm excited about that. He's going to bring us a couple liters tomorrow. So, well, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, most of you who have been with me this whole time, you are aware of how I channel, but this is for those of you who are brand new to the show. Like maybe you stopped by for the George Floyd interview, and now you're like, what? She's channeling God. What the hell? Well, yeah, that's what's happening. Not hell, heaven. But I do. I have been channeling the Prime Creator for a while. And I sometimes channel ETs and the occasional person who died, like Robin Williams, Art Bell, people that were inspirational on Earth. Sometimes they will come to me and ask me. I don't go out there chasing for spirits. I didn't say, hey God, gonna channel you. It's not an ego thing. It's actually a lot of pressure to want to get it right, obviously. So what I do is I just take a few deep breaths and I clear my mind and I open my mental channel. My third eye has been open. I've had 5 near-death experiences. I don't really recommend that, but it's just what happened to me, and that's what has helped me to open up my psychic vision a lot more. So, even though crazy things have happened to me, like being struck by lightning, I actually have been given gifts as a result of that. So I'm grateful for the gifts, and I use them for the good of humanity, and that's part of my life purpose, actually. So here we go. I'm already connected to Prime Creator. Yes, I use muscle testing to get a yes or no answer as a backup in case I'm not quite hearing something correctly. I will make sure that I'm giving you the highest quality and the clearest channel that I possibly can. I do not allow beings to take over my body, even though I trust Prime Creator more than anyone else. So who knows, maybe he'll take over my body, I don't know. But I get a little freaked out about that, so I do use telepathy and clairvoyance and clairaudience, basically clairsentience. I can feel, I can hear, and I see the things that God sends me, as well as telepathy directly. I'll hear the sentence he says, and then I'll relay it to you. And I'll try to do it in the way that he says it, and sometimes it's just my own interpretation. He will pluck things out of my subconscious mind. So if you've heard me say a phrase and then you hear me say it again during the channel, it's just because it's coming out of my subconscious mind, but God plucked it out of there for you. Because if you already relate to me as a person, you can relate to the phrases I use as well. Anyway, that's it for my channeling introduction. So basically, away we go. Okay, Prime Creator, am I connected to you? Muscle testing says yes. You may begin transmission now. Greetings, it is I, God, the Lord, Prime Creator. Whatever word you use to address me, whether it's how you address me now or how you've addressed me in past lives, Jah, Ra, Yahweh, Allah. There is only one God, and I am it. Him, them, whatever word or pronoun you wish to use in your description of me, be rest assured it is me. You will know that I am your Lord. I am your God. When you feel where it resonates in your body when you hear this message. In fact, this is how you're going to hear all messages. When you pay attention enough, you will hear these messages in the subtle layers of the various bodies that I have gifted you with, what I have given to you. The standard issue human flesh suits, if you will, and they all come equipped with the subtle energy body, spiritual body, there's your etheric or astral body is what our other people have called these, but you also have your mental body and you have your emotional body. And they all have different functions. You need to keep them all cleansed. You have your chakras, you have your Merkaba, you have many different things that you are only barely scratching the surface on right now. How to keep track of it? Many of you are wondering and asking. It's too much for those of you who are freshly awakening spiritually. You are overwhelmed by all the information around there. So to start, the best thing you can do, the only thing that will bring that rush of clarity to you and help you to unjumble it and sort it all out is meditation. Sit in silence Focus on your third eye. And just breathe. Breathe deeply. Breathe softly. Sit in gentle silence. Allow the darkness to caress you like the dearest mother. Sit in silence and allow the gentle subtlety of my love surround you like a warm blanket of energy. Sit in silence and become mindful of all the sounds of nature that I have gifted you with. Energies that you may tune into to clear all of your various bodies. Energy of water rushing, such as the ocean or rivers, streams, creeks. The sound of lake water lapping the shore sends ripples of energy throughout your physical body. I cleanse you with water, whether you're touching it or not. These sounds, whether you listen to a recording or sit on the banks of a lake or the shores of a beach. These are energy sound waves that physically touch your body. You feel it in your body. And if you don't, that's because you're not being mindful enough. You will be able to feel it in your body if you pay attention. The sounds of the birds chirping in the air, they penetrate the energy of your mental body, allowing the birds to chirp and focusing on that will clear and cleanse all of the debris that you have allowed to accumulate in your mental body while thinking all the thinks that you think. You guys, it's me, Elena. I think he was kind of quoting Dr. Seuss there. Sometimes he gets really funny and he does Dr. Seuss related things because it's how I relate to God. I relate to the humorous and warm side of him. Anyway, I just made me laugh because it's hilarious. All right, getting back into this. Okay, God, sorry. I had to interrupt right there and inject my 2 cents. Okay, moving right along. The energy of color that you see when you stare at the blueness of the sky, the whiteness of the clouds, the greenness of the grass and the trees and the bushes, and the brightly colored flowers that are around you. This is another way of cleansing the mental body. The more visually stunning a landscape is, for example, or a garden, or a creature in the garden, such as a hummingbird, the more beautiful and bright the colors are, the more it puts you in the moment, creates a state of mindfulness instantaneously. And this is a way to cleanse your mental body. How to cleanse your etheric or astral body. There are many ways. Eating root vegetables, carrots, turnips, beats will start to cleanse your etheric body as they ground you, because they're grown in the ground. It's pretty obvious, right? Another way that you can cleanse your astral, etheric, spirit body, it's called many names, is to take a shower. Allow the water to rush over your physical body, but it also, the energy of that, there's an energy to the water that's outside of the water itself that cleanses your etheric body. Taking a swim in a swimming pool, hopping into a bathtub, when you submerge your whole head and face, that also goes through your subtle energy bodies. Many of you have started to pick up the energy and vibration of the spirits attached to the water. If you talk to them, they will help cleanse your etheric body faster. If you allow the waves of the ocean to slam against your body, that is a quick release of all debris in your etheric field. Likewise, standing in a river, it will pull the debris away from you, much as a river will pull the debris away from the banks of itself. It does the same thing with your subtle energy bodies. Your emotional body is a little bit more complex and complicated, because as human beings, you are more complex than many other beings. You have the gift of empathy. Many of you are physical, mental, and emotional empaths. And so it takes a little bit more to cleanse your emotional body. You can use smoke, such as from sage, to cleanse your etheric bodies, not just water, but also smoke. But this doesn't quite penetrate your emotional body. And this is where all the spiritual work gets a little complicated, a little sticky, a little hard. This is where the words that you have created, such as shadow work, come in. When we say we're giving you upgrades, light codes, downloads, DNA changes, the things that help you the most are the light codes. They help you with your emotional body. You have to and you must let go of the emotions that are there in your body, stuck from other humans. That's number one, to cleanse your emotional body. If you don't know, you can ask your higher self, hey, higher self, can you please help me release my emotional body from all the emotions of others that others have thrust upon me? When people are angry at you, that sticks, especially if it affects you. When somebody accuses you of something that you did not do or that is not your intention and it sticks, it's because you have residual guilt. It's an emotion you have not yet dealt with, or residual shame, or residual feelings of unworthiness, or that you don't deserve something. These are oftentimes, emotions that stem back to childhood, when you've had instances with your parents before you realized they were people and you still thought they were gods, and you hung on their every word, you hung on their every action, however subtle. You hung on their every look of disapproval or approval of you. they could have been having a bad day and disapproved of something you did. And today, 30, 40, 50 years later, you might still feel that because you accepted that. You accepted their bad attitude as having anything to pertain or to do with you. Falsely, I might add. You have to process your emotions. You have to unravel what is yours and what is not yours. Give up what is yours consciously. Make a mental effort. Imagine. Maybe you imagine it's an extra layer of clothing over you, like a big woolly sweater. And it's fuzzy with fuzz balls that are the emotions of others. Just imagine taking off that sweater and throwing it in a lake or a body of water for cleansing. Don't have to visualize it beating it on a rock or to really wash it, because that means you're still holding on to it and you don't want to let it go. Imagine that you're taking off this big woolly fuzzy sweater and throwing it away into a body of water forever. If you want the visualization of watching it sink, that might be helpful. What remains in your emotional body after that belongs to you. So, just start at the bottom. Start at your first chakra. Look at all the emotions all the way up through the 12th chakra. And you guys, he's telling me right now, just go back last year. I did a whole series of chakras from the first all the way through the 12th chakra, and what questions you should ask yourself at each phase. It was pretty intense. It took weeks to go through the chakras, so just wanted you to know you could go back and do that. It's like a class. It's free. I'm probably going to create a more cohesive class for Udemy at some point. Once I get that done, I'll let you know. It might be a couple months from now, so it's better just to go back right now. Go listen to the free podcasts. But anyway, so all right, God, go ahead and continue. As you work through each and every energy body or energy center known as your wheels or your chakras, you're going to find emotions that need to be cleared out. Emotions that you didn't quite process because they have to do with something that someone else did or said, but you accepted it for yourself or took it on as your own. Or it's your own emotional response to how other people treated you, things they said they were going to do and didn't do, or things that they should have done and didn't do, or things that they did do and they were harmful to you. Whether you misinterpret it or interpret it correctly, those things that are harmful to you, they can stick in your emotional body as unprocessed emotions. Now, if you don't process them for a very long time, then they manifest into the physical body. And yes, you can cleanse the physical body by the ways that we talked about, but you still have to process the emotions, I'm sorry to say. And this is where the shadow work comes in. Many of you call it that. There's a lot of shadow work needing to be done, completed. Think of it as a spring cleaning of your emotional body, spring cleaning of your soul. So, for example, you have issues of survival because you didn't always have enough to eat as a child. And then you question whether you deserve to eat. Those would be issues for the first chakra. You have to replace that thinking with the idea that I created you and I wish for you to survive until your last breath. Who are you to question me, the Lord your God? You could say, I don't have a right to question God. I do have a right to survive. God created me to survive. That's one approach. There are many approaches, and none of them are wrong if they're right for you. So that is one way to do it. Your third chakra, for example, identity. You have to know who you are versus what did other people try to make you? Who you were in the eyes of other people. For some of you, you were a pawn in a game, an object easily manipulated by narcissists. And that might be stuck in your identity center. You need to cleanse that out. Anytime you accept that for yourself because you thought you could change them, and then you couldn't change them, and you think you're a failure at being a life coach or a changer of people, for lack of a better word. You're not a transformer of people, only you are a transformer of yourself. So you have to work on each chakra, every level. If you go through it and you forgive yourself for holding false and erroneous beliefs about yourself, that cleanses that part of your emotional body. And you can even say that now, I am sorry I ever held limiting beliefs about you. And you talk to yourself about this. I'm sorry I accepted other people's false ideas about myself when they clearly did not have a clear picture of who they even are. Usually people project onto you when they don't know who they are. If they think they're a failure, they might call you a failure. And if you accept that for yourself, then you carry that around. You need to stop it. Cleanse all of it. All 12 chakras have issues there. Mostly the ones in your body are what hold your emotions, though. There are a lot of emotions going around that are not directed directly at you per se. Things that you pick up empathically or things that you are feeling. And it's going to require a lot of cleansing on your part as the events unfold in your world right now. Everything is coming to a head, you guys are fond of saying. And yes, this is the head. The head being the 7th chakra, if you will. And in order to clear your head, or your 7th chakra, your divine connection chakra, you have to cleanse all the other chakras, all the other wheels. Cleanse all the wheels of life. You come to the crown, the pinnacle of the chakras that are in the physical body, at least. You're going to need to cleanse these all. Where does racism fall into the chakras? If you are a black person, it starts with the energy of survival. You have a fear that you're not going to survive because somebody might hurt you, harm you, kill you because of the color of your skin. That starts at that first chakra. Cleanse that out and know that you are alive because I created you. I love you. If you are a Black person, I, as your prime creator, I love you. I created you. You are perfect in the way that I created you. I did not make a mistake. I created you and allowed you to come into this world and this life that you chose to be Black, but I allowed you to choose it because I saw the strength in your character. I felt the indomitable spirit of your will. I felt your ability to be brave and to be a strong, proud warrior. Anything that you've covered that up with is in your third chakra. The points at which you did not accept the brave warrior within, anything that, when your survival on your first chakra is questioned, then in your third chakra you will have that reflected up. You have to cleanse from the very base, the very first chakra, that survival. You're going to survive until your last moment, and you're not going to come to the other side at all unless it is your time. Hopefully that is a thought that helps to cleanse that survival fear instinct mode. Many Black people in the United States run on this energy mode, that fear. A lot of Black people hold an energy of being less than or unworthy. And I am your prime creator telling you, this is not the case. You are worthy. You are more than worthy. You are more than loved. You are beyond the love of all loves. I love each and every one of you, regardless of the color of your skin, but the energy that I am giving right now is one of pure love to Black people. You must feel this in your fourth chakra, your heart. Now, your sexuality chakra, your second chakra, there's a lot of erroneous energy floating around, specifically with Black people. I'm not going to get into all the subtleties of that right now. If you are a Black person, you know of which I speak. So your second chakra has to be cleansed from all of the sexual innuendos and thoughts about you, expectations of you, judgments of you that other people put on you, regardless of what they look like. This is about you and how you feel and process information. Your third chakra is your identity, how you feel about yourself, and what you allowed to accept about yourself based on other people's dirty thoughts. When they have debris in their mental body and they hurl it at you, if you accepted it, you allowed the debris to stick to that third chakra. Now, I'm specifically speaking to people that consider themselves Black. But if this applies to you, no matter what your color of your skin is in your world, from my perspective, this seems silly. It's immature. But this is the level that your people are. All the people on Earth, the earthling people. It's like fighting over the colors in a box of crayons. To me, it's very immature. And we're trying to lift you up into a level of spiritual maturity where everybody is loved and honored and respected for being a spark of the great divine. To allow your inner light to shine through and to heal all these emotions that were no longer serving you. In your heart, you might have had hurt with love because of issues of survival and identity and sexuality, and all of it trickles up, and you have a hard time feeling love for yourself, accepting love for yourself, or you have a hard time believing that love exists. Now, if you are a Black person, when you were a Black child and your parents were raising you, they too felt that energy, that fear of impending doom, that violence energy that they felt might be coming their way. They did not know if they would survive. Many parents were under so much pressure and stress that they abused their children, and then their children grew up, and you are those children. A lot of Black parents have hit their children, have beat them. And when they get violent, what happens, and a lot of you don't have that, but to the ones of you, the people that have gone through this, and regardless of your skin color, many of you have gone through abusive parent situations. And that hits you on the survival level, that hits you on the third chakra level, and it affects your heart level. If you felt you could not speak about it, it hits you on your fifth chakra, your throat level. Unraveling the cycle of abuse, physical abuse, beating. I'm sorry, God, this is me, Elena, saying to you guys, what God is showing me is like kids that were hit, smacked, just physically abused, not sexually, just the physical abuse is what he's addressing right now. Okay, God, go ahead. When you felt that you could not speak out against it because you were fearful that they would come after you again and beat you again, then your throat chakra gets blocks. And your only form of escape in many cases ends up being your sixth chakra, your third eye, and many of you become psychic because you have to see it coming. And you get the psychic gift because you see when your parent is going to be mad and when they're going to come at you when you're a child. Your crown chakra doesn't even come into play. Sometimes it's blocked and sometimes it doesn't come into play because you haven't even gotten time to think about that, about your spirituality and your connection with the divine. When you're stuck in your first chakra, survival mode. Now, for those of you who are sexually abused, that hits your second chakra. And then the energy of that goes back down into your first chakra, survival mode. You comply with an adult who is hurting you in a sexual way because you're afraid of what might happen. And that puts you back in that survival mode. And then all that energy goes back to your third chakra, which is your mode of how you see yourself, your identity. Many of you had verbal abuse hurled at you from these same stressed out parents that had the same things happen to them. And these are the cycles of violence that have affected you on your chakras because it affected your parents and their chakras as well. And their parents and their parents. The things that happened during the slavery years, not just in the United States, but throughout the world, to Black people. All of the slavery things that occurred while people were slaves has been stuck in the DNA and needs to be cleansed. If you are not a person who was Black at this time, we are asking you to please clear these things in yourself and send the love out into the world to cleanse all of the chakras of all of the people, all of the Black people. So send out the energy, I am safe, for the first chakra. Affirm it in yourself first, and then push that through in your mind. Have a visualization that that is being pushed out through the world, that energy of I am safe. Second chakra, I can accept my physical body and my sexuality in a loving way. And anything that was perpetrated upon me did not come from me. I am capable of creating a sacred physical union as an adult with somebody who honors and respects me. I honor and respect myself, so that honor and respect my body energy, push that through the world. Third chakra, identity. I am a child of the great divine. I am divine. I deserve to see myself as divine. I am a child of God, and I am wholly and utterly loved. Purely. With the greatest amount of purity and innocence available. Send that energy out through the world. The heart chakra. I love myself. I accept the love of God in all of its forms. I love everybody on the planet because I love myself. For those of you who don't feel the love for yourself, and this is a foreign feeling to many of you still, even if you say it, it's just lip service. Just accept the love, but to prove to you that I love you, go to a beautiful point in nature when you can. See how beautiful it is, and know that the heartbeat of the earth beats for you. When you see blades of grass and how green they are, I made them that color for you. No two people can see the same color exactly in the same way. The way that you perceive that color is yours and yours alone, because I love you. When the breeze hits your face, when the wind comes up, it's because I wish to cleanse your subtle body, because I love you. When the birds chirp and they cleanse your mental body, I do that for you because I love you. I gave you a body, I gave you everything you have because I love you. And if you are a Black person, I allowed you to come as a Black person because I trusted you to be brave and to be strong and to have an unbreakable will and spirit. But sometimes you have to find it and reclaim that power for yourself. Ask me. I'm here to help. Your fifth chakra. Reclaim your power to your own voice. I have a voice, and it is important. That is your affirmation. For your heart, it's I am loved, and I love, and I accept love. For your third eye, or your sixth chakra, I see clearly the truth of all situations. I see beyond the illusions of the physical world. I see how things play out in a way that is the spiritual drama unfolding in this world. You have to understand that the things that are happening to unfold you as a spiritual being, so you can have a greater awakening and understanding. When you open your seventh chakra, I accept that I am a divine being, and I accept the love and the light of God in me at all times. I am the light. These are the energies to work with. Now, whether you are a person that is black or white or whatever, these examples I gave you will help you. But I have decided to address the black people specifically because of what is happening in the world right now. I am the Lord your God. I have never forsaken you. I have always loved you. I weep with you. I feel everything that you have gone through. I hear you. I see you. I love you. And I have never left you. I will never abandon you. I cannot, because you are me. I am in you. Call upon me in whatever form you must. You want to say goddess, that's okay. You want to say Lord or God or Ra, Jah, Yahweh, Allah, however you wish to say. If you don't like any of those words, call me the universe, or just call me life. Call me the light. Call me the I am. Call me the prime creator, or just the creator if you like. Whatever word that you have for me, just call upon me and know that I love you so much, and I am grateful that you were this brave and this strong to come into this world at this time to experience these things so that you could create a better awakened humanity. Your role is important. You are important. Who you are is unique, and you are an important piece to the puzzle in this world. I am always with you. I am always with you. I am with you because I am you. There is no sliver of separation between us. There is no separation between us. Call upon your inner power, which is me, the Lord your God inside of you. Don't consider that I was the father of Jesus and I am not the father of you. Do not consider that to be true for a second, because I am everybody's father, if you want to look at it that way. Or God, whatever your word is. I'm not picky. I created all the words. You can use the word you wish. I hold you in my loving arms, in my embrace, in my hands. You rest in the palm of my hands forever. When you are finished with your very short time on the earth, in my time, 100 years is short. In my time, 1,000 years is not that much. So when I say you're only going to be on earth for a short time, consider the source. Me, the source. God humor. You are only on earth for a short time to experience these things, to understand them in a different way. Then when you come to the other side, you see things clearly. You see the whole picture. And you are in my energy field completely again. There is no veil. And you understand how deeply you are loved. As you grow in your awakening state and you heal your emotions in each of your chakras, that veil lifts a little bit more every time. When those veils lift and your emotions get healed and you feel more and more your energy and your power, when you start to love yourself and see yourself as I love you and as I see you, this is how you empower yourself and take back who you are at the core of your being, which is a pure, innocent soul created of love and nothing else. If you say that you are an angry person, this is temporary. You're angry because of the situation. You have to fix it in yourself. Be the change you wish to see in the world. That's a very famous saying, but it's very true. One match is very tiny but can light a whole bonfire. Be that light that illuminates the whole world. But start with yourself, chakra by chakra, energy by energy. Deal with all of your emotions. Get professional help if you need help. There is no shame in that. Shame is the first chakra, by the way. All of these energies, all of these emotions have to be healed. And I speak to every person on earth, not just the black people. Everybody needs to heal these words that were said to them that hurt them. Everybody needs to heal the emotions that they felt and did not address later. Clear out your emotional body. Clear out your chakras. Address the shadow side. Let's shine a light on the shadows so that only light exists in America and in the world. I love you beyond any love you've ever been able to experience in your realm. Tap into that, and you're going to know how important you are, how much you're loved. I'm sending you the love and the peace that passes all understanding. Open your heart to it. Allow that to come in. I'm sending extra angels to all of you on earth right now. Every black person gets angels. Ask for your angels. I'm sending the angels. Ask to feel them because they're there. You're sending 3 more, 4 more. Everyone gets 4 extra angels. All the black people right now. To help lift you up and help you process your emotions. Accept the help. Accept the love. Love yourself and accept yourself. You want to have a conversation with me directly? Ask me for a conversation directly, and I will help you get to the level of understanding and awareness where you can have these kinds of conversations for yourself. I love each and every one of you. All of you. I love all of you equally, and I love all of you purely and 100%, 1,000%. Thank you for listening to my message. Thank you for loving yourselves. Thank you for your acceptance and your bravery. You know how much you're honored and loved and respected in heaven by all the people that preceded you. Everyone is cheering you on. Keep going. Keep going. Don't ever stop. And with that, I am bidding you adieu. Another God humor means with God in French. Okay. I'm sending you peace. I'm sending you love. Feel the energy now. All right. All right, guys, that's it. God's telling me that there are light codes in this energy of my speaking with his words that comes through me. I'm a channel of this stuff. So if you listen to it more than once, maybe you'll get more out of it. I don't know. But anyway, just listening to it now, you've gotten more than just the words. You've gotten other things as well for your benefit. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening to my show. Thank you for sticking with it, going on this spiritual journey with me, the journey of awakening our souls within us by healing our bodies and our emotional bodies especially. I had no idea what Prime Creator was going to talk about tonight. I had no idea he would address black people directly. I hope this helps. I love you guys, all of you, so much. We're going to get through all this together. Just accept the light codes that come through, the downloads, the upgrades. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your body. Don't ever stop fighting for yourselves and for the world. But when I say fight, I mean be a rainbow warrior of light. Curing yourself from the ground up, from the first chakra up, that's going to be what gets us to the state at which we are in grace and perfect harmony and peace and love. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep trying. That was the energy I kept getting from God this whole time. So anyway, I hope this is a good message for you guys. I love you. I love you so much. I am going to go now. So I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys. Peace. Oh, wait. I forgot to say, I will be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. Anyway, now I'm signing off. All right. May the force of God be with you always. I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.